Welcome back to Growth Unleashed, the podcast for pet brands that want to grow smarter without relying on paid ads. I'm Matt, the founder of Bubblegum Search.
And I'm Louis, SEO Manager here at Bubblegum. And today we wanted to dive into quite a common topic in the pet industry, and that is an over-reliance on paid ads and kind of undervaluing organic growth.
Yeah.
So let's start with the basic question, Matt. What are paid ads good for?
Yeah, I mean, they're good for a lot of things. And as I said, I guess the caveat we want to put in place is that we're not going to be bashing on paid ads. So what are they good for? Certainly quicker visibility. As we know, SEO and organic growth, it does just take time. There's no way around that. They're also really good at capturing existing demand that's already out there. So in Google, for example, if whatever product or service it might be, if there's already a high demand out there, then you can tap into that much quicker. When it comes to paid ads on social, these are great because obviously they can allow you to build brand awareness faster than you could organically. And then also on social, you get the opportunity to build demand that is or maybe not there already as well.
Yeah, I guess the thing I would say about that, demand or brand awareness that you can create with paid ads is that it's super effective, but you are effectively renting it. You're renting the clicks and traffic that come to your website. The brand awareness isn't necessarily going to stick around once the adverts disappear, Essentially, if you think about, if you stopped spending ads, you would almost disappear offline.
Yeah,
and I think
exactly.
If that's the case, then you need to think about diversifying the portfolio a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a good way to phrase it. Financially, you're always encouraged to have a diversified portfolio. And it's the same with marketing, We've seen cases where brands have relied too heavily on that for too long. And look, it's if you do that as well as do kind of the organic side, and it's kind of part of a good diversified mix, then fine. But the problem is when you're overly reliant on it, and again, if paid works and it gives you a great ROI, that's fantastic. It's doing what it should do. But there's many times when, especially as we're seeing across the board, rising cost per clicks, the rising cost per acquisition is only increasing. It just ultimately makes scaling up and profitability a lot more challenging, and without being diversified.
Absolutely, and those ads they're not doing any work for you beyond getting that click in. Whereas focusing on more organic foundational growth it has a snowball effect that's going to be valuable for your business in the long term.
Yeah, definitely. So with that said, if paid ads are just one piece of the puzzle, what's the other side of the equation? So what can sustainably build organic growth and authority?
So this is where we start looking at earned visibility, right? So think about ads, you're paying for them and it gets you top spot. You could start thinking about putting some great content on your own website that's useful to users, and might be a trending topic, might drive clicks itself, but you also need to look at building authority elsewhere online. So that would be things like getting backlinks and brand mentions from lifestyle publications, pet publications, influencers that you like in your industry, Reddit threads, Facebook groups, all of these third-party places that you can appear as well. Ultimately, that is expanding your visibility, and it's not free because it takes time to do, but you're not paying for it.
Yeah, and I guess also this is where digital PR comes in, right? So, creating newsworthy stories, and then getting your brand mentioned in these trusted media publications. Because these branded mentions build authority in both Google and AI search, right? So, if anyone who hasn't seen perhaps previous episodes, branded mentions, we will talk about quite a lot, just more so because they have become the gold standard now when it comes to ranking and one of the most I guess, one of the most biggest and most powerful signals that you can send to Google and AI search. So of course, getting branded mentions in these relevant high authority places, this kind of increases your overall visibility as well. And of course, when your rankings improve, and you're also showing up in these third-party websites, your visibility increases overall, even when you're not spending on ads as well.
Exactly. I think, as we said, it's not a fast way of building growth, with a massive budget and, the ad, you could spend, however much on ads and achieve that temporarily, but all of these actions are foundational growth, and they will be valuable to your business for as long as your business runs.
Yeah, definitely. And so I always kind of encourage anyone to look at it like an investment in organic is an investment in the content assets behind it.
Yeah.
You could have a bad month on, any paid campaign, and it could just go to waste. Whereas at least with organic growth and organic marketing, the investment, whether it's in content or PR, it has that kind of lifetime value to kind of, be picked up on or seen again, and add value over the long term. So yeah, it's kind of, as I say, that's more like, the way I view it is like asset building, even if it takes a while to see those results, unlike paid ads. That's the investment part of it.
Absolutely. And so, thinking practically, if you're a pet founder, what do you think is, what could you start doing this week to start building your organic visibility? Yeah.
I mean, the first thing I'll probably suggest doing is just almost having like just a benchmark report of like, where are you at with your visibility? You may know, but you might not. And so a very kind of quick and simple thing to do is just Google your brand. If you Google your brand, and again, there's an option where you can do an advanced search, and you can set it to like, the week gone by or the month previous. But ultimately what you're just looking for there is like, are you visible just beyond your website and your paid ads? Are you kind of, are you visible across multiple social platforms, and ultimately like newsworthy websites? If it's just, your website and ads that show up, then of course, then you've got a job to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that can be quite daunting, building that visibility when you're starting the journey. I think if I could give one piece of advice in terms of, starting to put content out there that you might pitch, it would be just start with a really simple evergreen piece of content. Essentially, you could write a kind of tell-all piece about dog food nutrition, let's say, and that could be a really useful thing to have on your website in general for your customers. You might even get a few backlinks, because sometimes big pieces of content like that do just naturally attract them.
And if you're a dog food brand, you're going to have those unique insights, hopefully even unique data around it as well. So that
has value to it.
Yeah.
And I think, you take it a step further, trying to get published in third-party media, news websites and stuff. You could essentially create a spicy headline for the piece of content you're pitching. So in this example, it could be something like an expose on what's really in your dog's food bowl.
Yeah.
Something like that, something snappy that gets people's attention. Most importantly, I suppose, journalists' attention.
Yeah.
And you can start pitching that to them yourself. It's difficult, but that journey can start, with you and your unique data.
Yeah, exactly. And so you've built brand authority that you own, but you've also set up the content in a way that it can earn brand authority.
Exactly.
Right? And I suppose you could also take that, in this example, that piece of content and, chop it up into different types of social media posts as well. Because if it's got unique insights and certainly unique data in it, then you can share that on social as well and build brand that way. So just one simple piece. I say simple, but because it would take some time and thought behind it. But ultimately, it's a great starting point, isn't it? Have your own content, and then it's kind of scale it out from there. So yeah, I mean, additionally, I was going to say what else you could do, which I guess is like a week one kind of, is just engage with the pet community, you know, and so it could be on like Reddit threads. You go again, going back to your example, like there'll be plenty of threads out there where people are discussing certain different dog foods and have lots of different questions around that. And so
There'll
if you
be
just
many discussions around that sort of
many,
thing.
but you could just, if you haven't already, set up the profile where you are and your brand is the expert behind that particular topic, and then just start engaging with the people within those threads and replying to their comments. I mean, the key is obviously just to be helpful and not promotional. But that's an easy week one task, I suppose.
Absolutely. I think if there's a kind of key takeaway from what we're trying to say today, it's that ultimately ads can buy you attention, but for longer term kind of trust and visibility, you need to focus on like owned and earned media.
Yeah, definitely. So smart pet brands don't rent growth, they own it.
Love it.
Cool. Okay, great. So that's it for today. If you made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe. Any questions, just leave them down in the comments. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.